we are here to go through the podcast for week 4 now, right? Mate.
No, you fucked up on the stream last time out. You put week 3. It was only week 2.
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
Nah.
Yeah. You're just getting confused because we did a preview podcast.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Oh, you just
bro.
done.
You're gonna have to remind me to change all that, mate. I've done the thumbnails and everything with it saying week 3. Fuck me. Okay, this is week 3, the week 3 podcast. Egg has missed 2 weeks. Well, you can catch it all on my YouTube channel. Like,
to be fair, Egg's so vice, so don't worry about it.
yeah, Robo's a part of the people that made it, and you know. Yeah, so we have a lot to discuss because, guys, we had a brand new patch that dropped very recently, and I'll tell you what, Gengar got some pretty tasty buffs. Makes me very, very happy.
I hate it. I hate it already. I'm so angry. Let me have my little rant now and we can get out of the way.
All right, let's go.
We literally spoke about this. Gengar is one of these Pokemon which is impossible to balance because he's either awful, which is essentially the state he's been in up until now, or you could literally shave off half a second off one of his abilities. He's got to be the most broken jungler speedster in the game, and that's what I'm really worried about because he is like I generally play speedsters. And there's nothing less fun than a Gengar just appearing out of nowhere and just one-shot you. And there's no counterplay. So I'm so worried about this buff.
Thing is, I agree with you, mate, 100%. But I've not been able to have fun on Gengar in a very, very long time. So you can bet your ass I'm abusing the heck out of that mon right now. But I'm
honestly
agree.
So excited for this buff though, because like Gengar, when I first installed the game, was the first one I picked up and played. And obviously I was spamming the shit out of that Hex build because it was just so mind-numbingly easy. It's just literally 2 clicks and everything was dead. So hopefully we go back to that sort of meta. But I don't even think it's going to be that broken in this current mess because we are getting all the EXs back in. And there's been so many new Pokemon that have been released since, obviously, release day Gengar, which is what this kind of reminds me of. It'll be interesting to see if it actually finds a place in the meta, especially for the weekend.
Let me find Chris Hero's tweet of him ripping Rayquaza with Gengar since the buff. It's not an insta kill, mate, but it's rather impressive. Was it Chris Heroes? Who was it now? Oh no, I think it was Inda. It was Inda. Let me go find Inda's clip and we'll play it because for a speedster like Gengar, like usually Gengar's not the kind of like ripping Pokemon. It never really has been when it comes to objectives. So yeah, this was just bizarre. Let's move over to the browser chat. Get this up on the full screen so you can hopefully see it. Here we go.
If myself was here, I would just donkey rip it right now.
So you're just using Hex Sludge Bomb, right? And just the constant fucking Sludge Bomb. I mean, there's a Pikachu there, but like, not that Pikachu's doing much.
No, I know something that's a lot quicker than that. Actually, I'm not impressed.
Hello?
I'm sorry, bro.
Bro, that's just fucking Hex Gengar. It can just do what the fuck it wants all game.
Have you seen the clips of the attack speed Clefable with gravity? Ripping objectives.
No, but I want to see that now.
I can't be digging it out now, but it's so fucking quick. It's hilarious.
I'm buzzed to have season 1 Gengar back. Like, I mean, I completely agree with you, Robo, and I don't think it's going to be long before it gets some sort of nerf. I think people are going to cry about it quite a lot, but
I'll be the first one to cry. Honestly, I'm crying already. I haven't even played it yet.
Yeah, but you know, whilst I can enjoy it, I'm going to do. It's
fair enough. Another big one from the patch log. I'm just like, I've got this open in front of me. Ho-Oh. What do you think of that?
I think Ho-Oh. Well, some people are saying they're not bothered about it. Some people are saying Ho-Oh wasn't a problem anyway, so they're kind of like, why have you nerfed it?
I'm very much in that camp. I think Ho-Oh's pretty terrible. It's obviously got on paper a really broken Unite move, like, oh no, you win a Ray fight and then all of a sudden you get to just revive the entire team that's just been taken out and win the second fight, but it just doesn't work like that because it revives people where they've just died, which is usually right in the middle of an opposing team.
Yeah.
So if you revive them straight away, they just come straight back and get knocked out again. Like,
to be
I don't know.
honest,
For me, Ho-Oh's never really been
the
an
revive
issue.
wasn't my issue with Ho, mate. It was how much it took to take down and how quick it could just get away. It was
Yeah, but it didn't do anything with it. That was my issue.
I know, but it's one of those where you've just got yet again another mon in the middle of the fight that can be an absolute pain in the ass to just KO.
It reminds me of Goodra at Ray Fight.
Mm.
It's a pain in the ass to knock out, but you just walk away from it and ignore it.
Yeah, well, that's why
it doesn't exist.
That's why those mons annoy me, though, mate, because that doesn't happen when you're playing like duo queue, solo queue. People are just absolutely hell bent on taking out that one mon. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like Red Mice would probably be the guy that does it, but it's one of those where they just spend forever trying to take out that one mon. It's like just ignore it and deal with the mons that are threats. Because I'm with you. I genuinely didn't think Ho was that bad. So yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Robo?
I think just listening to you two talking and throwing out like Goodra, I think it kind of speaks more to kind of the state of defenders in the game. And just how they are getting in. Defenders are meant to be tanks, they're meant to be hard to kill, but maybe it has definitely swollen up the last 6 months or maybe a bit longer than that. In terms of Ho specifically, I think in the right hands and with the right team comp and like playing in a 5-stack, I think Ho can be a very hard Pokemon to kill. I think he can bring a lot to the game. Any more than any other defender? I couldn't really tell you, but I mean, like you say, the nerfs might not do much, but if they feel like that something needs to change, and this is only a small change, and let it be a small change, it's gonna make people more happy. If Ho remains out there, they'll be like, oh, okay, that's not too bad. Then really, it's a good nerf.
Yeah,
I remember the theory that some people came out with was that Ho was meant to be a support, but people just wouldn't buy it. So branded it as a defender instead, and it definitely kind of has that. It feels more like a support for sure, but even then, it doesn't do a lot as a support. Even if you want to play it as a support, it doesn't really heal. It doesn't really CC. It slows people, but that's...
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to play a defender as a support, what's the first defender that comes to your mind? It's got to be Umbreon, surely.
Yeah, without wish.
Yeah.
Well, it's like Lupus says, Ho-Ho's an AR with just one support ability. And that's exactly what Ho-Ho is like, Lupus. I'm 100% with you there.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a good change. I mean, it's not enough that it's going to make the Pokemon not usable. People who are good with it will still probably do good with it. Yeah, sensible.
I tell you, the biggest thing for this patch that isn't even a Pokemon nerf that we need to talk about, and I think it's just absolutely bizarre. They nerfed jungle invading, bro.
Do you think they nerfed it or did they buff it?
The experience, I think the experience points is a nerf. Like a jungle invade, you're not going to get. Although they could go for the Baltoys, I guess, because they are worth more.
There you go. So,
but
obviously for me,
you're not going to get over in time.
It depends what you play. If you play Sableye or Snorlax, you definitely get over in time.
I don't
for me, the Baltoy is so easy to steal, and the other thing is you can just completely ignore someone who's going for a buff and take a Baltoy instead.
Yeah, but this is
that's a massive chunk of their jungle.
If people cotton on, they're going to go for the Baltoys first.
You take a buff instead. I think you're in the same position. I don't think it's affected jungle invade. I've seen a few people say that it's kind of nerf for jungle invade. I really don't think it has.
I don't know.
I think they're basically just trying to take away the emphasis on stealing buffs as opposed to the XP from them. And also, obviously they've reduced the experience points by 18%, but is that still higher than a Baltoy with the 33% increase?
I guess
it still will be.
Yeah. So I mean, ultimately, it's just for me, it's just trying to dissuade invasions.
But for me, like the Baltoy is so much easier to steal and less to.
It is because you're gonna want to get your buffs. The buffs are going to be your priority as a jungle at the end of the day. So yeah, I can sort of see the direction they're going in.
Either way, I like the fact that they've gone for handling a certain meta and a way that people play as teams.
The thing it's really nerfed is the level 4 gank. That's I think what they're aiming for. The invade, I don't think it's particularly nerfed. If anything, I feel more encouraged about trying to invade a level 4 Evo than I previously would have done.
Well, I'd imagine what this means is that your level 4 invades are not going to be that strong, to be honest, because with that experience difference, I don't think, for example, Leafeon will get an Evo just off 2 pieces of farm anymore. So, because Leafeon goes for what? The Xatu and a buff. If you time that right, you get your level 4 and you can go straight away into the other jungle or do an invade. You're not going to get that with this experience difference because you only just get level 4 doing that.
You know what? And as well, you do have to really kind of, you can't just go Xatu straight into the buff. You have to kind of like let the passive kind of build up a little bit. But to be honest, like honestly, you could probably just go Xatu buff Baltoy, hit there's level 4, and the time you get to lane, the difference will be what, like 2.5, 3 seconds. I mean, if that's going to really be the difference between being successful or not, then they've done what they've set out to do. But
I think it will, mate. I think Pokemon Unite seconds make a huge difference in Pokemon Unite, especially when
if
it comes
it's affecting both jungles.
Yeah.
Then really, what have they actually changed other than your lane gank's going to be 4 seconds before the first set of bees rather than 8 seconds before the first set of bees?
Yeah, but I think what it means is that you don't really have to worry about that level 4 invade that much anymore. Yeah. It'd be interesting. I'm intrigued to see what difference it's going to make to 5-star play, mate, especially tournament play, because every single team does level 4 jungle invades now. They have done.
Well, somebody on my team was discussing about the possibility of maybe taking level 4 jungler, them evolving off maybe the Xatu and the 2 Baltoy, and the laners being able to take the buffs themselves into lane and love the experience like that. But obviously, we've not had any time to test just yet.
No, that's what I'm excited for, mate. All these pro teams are going to test how to really utilize these changes, and I think we're going to see something that we never thought they would do, because that's what they're like. But But yeah, as we carry on, sorry, Robo, you had something then?
No, do you think this is going to make share jungle with XP share a bit more viable, or a bit more needed, just to kind of get that level 4 quicker by killing more of the farm?
Yeah, I think you if you can get any farm with an EXP share, I think you should take that advantage, and I think jungle kind of just makes it more needed or more wanted in the jungle anyway to get that extra XP out of it, mate.
That's what I mean. Yeah, just killing that one, maybe killing one more Baltoy.
Yeah, I think you're right with that, mate. 100%.
But yeah, let's move on. So what we got next?
Well, I mean, you've got the expected, EXmon nerfs. You've got Zacian gone. You've got Ho-Ho kind of nerfed, but Sylveon rework is really interesting, mate. I don't know if anyone's seen it, but basically it's just
it's insane. What the fuck have they done to it?
It's absolutely massive now, mate, and like it's kind of hard to not hit someone now. But I don't know what the damage difference is like. I don't know if anyone's had much time to play it. I haven't, but
it is weaker. But I think it's fair considering the size of now the Hyper Voice. I think it's a good change.
I've had difference is about 10% in DPS is what Lupus is saying. Okay, that's interesting.
I think they've just made it more beginner friendly to hit. I think they've just made it an easier. I never found it was a hard ability to hit. You just got to move.
That's the issue, though, mate. People are not happy because they feel like what it's doing is taking skill expression out of the game, which it's a bit half and half. Because like I am one of those believers that a good hyper voice Sylveon, the way it used to work, was skill expression because it was such an easy move for people to dodge. Like genuinely, to do well on it did take skill, whereas it's not like that anymore. Like it's kind of more skillful to not hit someone with it now.
But that's what I'm saying. Like they've just made it easier, and the compromise we're gonna tweak back on the thing. I can see why people are upset with it, but I mean, who knows? Was enough people complaining that it wasn't worth taking because you couldn't really get the full use out of it before? Did you miss it, or people?
Well, this is it though. I don't know why they've done the rework because nobody had an issue with it previously. It wasn't something that was even discussed, mate.
They just got bored in the offices. What can we do?
Swear down.
Let's make Hyper Voice cover an entire fucking lane.
I swear down, mate, because nobody was complaining about Sylveon. Everyone was really happy with where Sylveon was with both builds, and it's like, why have you done this? It's like they just got bored.
The Baby Doll Eyes reworks it was just unnecessary. Like, who's missing Baby Doll Eyes anyway?
Yeah, that is.
Let's be honest. It was such an easy move to hit. It's a straight line.
You've never seen me play I'm not fussed with the change. I think if it makes it easier for people who can't use it, fine. If people are moaning that, it's taken away the kind of skill element of using it, I get that as well. But
Are we about to gloss over the changes to training kits as well? Because I think that's probably the most significant part.
I've not seen
Sylveon's new kit.
Oh yeah, healing times 3, mate. I've not even seen that. 3 times
slow increase
on the special attack, slow increase 20 to 50.
Why?
Bro.
There we go.
That's going to be so good for Zorak. It was already a good mon to be taken on Zorak.
I feel so sorry for Dodrio.
Yeah,
he cannot play Dodrio at the moment.
It's all of the species, isn't it, realistically?
Everything slows, everything stuns.
Yeah. I mean, if you pair that with an Eldegoss, bro. That's bizarre, mate. I didn't even see that. That is really bizarre.
That is weirder to me than the Hyper Voice rework. That's just a huge buff. Like, that's not even subtle. That's just, I think they like to mess with us.
Well, it's a complete rework of the Pokemon, realistically, isn't it? Which is why it's so weird, mate. Because nobody had an issue with Sylveon. Everyone was really happy with it.
Sylveon was really good. I think they've just made it better, which is nice.
Maybe they just like flip a coin and they decide what Eevee evolution they want to break next.
Oh, they love evolutions, apparently. Yeah. It's a well-known thing about Timmy. They absolutely adore them. So they're going to make every single one of them as useful as possible.
They will all have their time in the line.
That's valid, mate.
Broken.
I mean, talking about, mons that Pokemon love, you've got
Pikachu,
the one...
let's go!
You've got the mascot, the very mascot themselves. I'm on board with the Volt Tackle buff. I don't think it needed to be that. I think they just needed to pick what direction they wanted to dive out of Volt Tackle with. But I am a massive, massive fan of the Unite move change, mate. I know you are as well, Chaos. I think it's great.
I fucking love it, mate. Look at that. Guaranteed to hit 2 throughout the entire fucking thing. Crazy. Love it.
It's already such a good mon. The Unite move was probably one of the lackluster areas of it, even though it was still good. But I think this is a huge buff, mate. I'm so on board with it. And the visual effects I haven't seen yet for Pikachu. I'm excited to play it again, but I think this is probably the mon that people are going to cry about the most outside of Gengar.
I really like the movement speed. I know it's such a weird thing to kind of focus on, but yeah, the movement speed off of Volt Tackle. Maybe that's why they didn't want to do the direction thing. Maybe they thought that's kind of like the equivalent, like an equivalent that people can just deal with. But again, I think this is a great buff. Again, was it necessary? Hell no. Pikachu's always been a good Pokemon. He's never been a bad Pokemon. The Unite is huge. No, I can't wait to actually play him and try him out.
Mimikyu, I'm not quite sure about. I know it's Trick Room.
I'm so relieved, man. I was terrified as soon as I saw Mimikyu buff announced. I was like, what the fuck are they going to do to it? It's already broken.
I was
Trick
worried.
Room. I know one player in the league, actually, who plays Trick Room Mimikyu and swears by it, and he plays it so much he's absolutely cracked on it, but I don't think it's going to be a huge...
Do you think this is a pre-buff before something bigger?
I hope not, mate.
Because they do this. I don't know. Sometimes they do these little something you just ignore like this, and then next patch, bang, nerf. But we've got to buff his other moveset and make it ridiculously better.
I hope not, mate. Because we already had broken Mimikyu, and we don't need it again, mate.
Yeah.
I just, to be honest, this is why I'm excited that there's some changes and big buffs coming to things that aren't all rounders. Because I'm so freaking fed up of all-rounders and defenders just being the go-to thing for this meta. Like, it's been for so long, mate, and I've had enough of it.
On that note, let's talk about the Buzzwole buffs.
Yeah, I've heard that I've heard it's really good, the Leech Life buffs.
Leech Life was always my favourite move on Buzzwole. It was never the good move, but I just like hugging Pokemon. And this is...
do a bit more than hugging me, let's be real.
He's doing a lot of sucking, mate.
Got to wait to third base with that, fuck.
No, I love this. Leech people, I mean, like, does this make Leech Life viable?
Oh, without a doubt, from what I've been seeing, mate. I mean, look at the cooldown decrease from 8 seconds to 5 is massive. Do you know what I
I've
mean?
seen someone who's swearing by Tank Buzzwell at the moment. They showed me what they were doing on it. It's just hilarious.
Oh, it's crazy, mate. I think it really does make it viable. You'll have to give some games on it, Robo, and let us know what you think. But
He's just gone to give some games to it.
I want to be sponsored. This is why I keep drinking it on the stream.
Hey, you've got Pepsi. I've got Coke, mate.
I've got a Monster. Let's go.
We're having the battle off.
I used to work for Pepsi years ago. I was
Yeah, I'm easy, mate. I like both, but something that probably did need to happen and nobody can really complain about. Ceruledge got nerfed. I don't know how strong of a nerf it is yet. I've not played it. Does feel pretty strong. The Phantom Force nerf, the slow reduction from 90% to 60 is pretty huge. So I think it's going to be quite a viable nerf, mate. I think it'll bring Ceruledge more in line with just an A tier mon, but I've not played it yet. I don't know if anyone has, but
I mean, it's nice, but it's still going to be
people are still going to pick it, aren't they? Let's be honest.
I like it, mate. It's my favourite mon from that generation. I think it's really cool. So I'll keep playing it, but we've got Armor Rouge coming very shortly, don't we? Is it this week? 12th.
16th, I thought. Or was it sooner than that?
It's next week. It's coming next week, bro. So yeah, I'm on board with that, mate. I'm gonna praise the Lord right now because we finally got Blaziken nerfs. Thank you, thank you, Lord. Like,
the Blaziken nerf is a thing of beauty.
It needed to happen.
Happy with that.
It needed to happen ages ago. I'm so freaking happy with it. I mean, crit chance being nerfed is huge. Like, they've not just done the moves, they've actually dealt with actual like natural stats as well. I think that's crazy. Really on board with that. Like, just damage nerfs across the board pretty much. Fire punch.
I love with these nerfs that we're looking at so far. They're not going the old route they used to take, because absolutely butchering a Pokemon and making them completely unusable. Yeah, they're actually quite fair nerfs. So they're still going to get usage. They're still going to be strong, but it's not as overtuned, and we need to first ban these mons immediately. Broken.
You don't think this is a Pokemon being gutted?
I still think it's going to be strong. Like, when I think of a Pokemon being gutted, I think of Sableye being gutted like 4 times in a fucking row.
Cramorant, do you know what I mean?
Not bitter, but...
No, but honestly, mate, he's right. Cramorant got nerfed nearly every fucking patch not too long ago.
It made no sense. That was just the most pointless thing ever.
Bro, they had Cramorant as like the mascot of being fucking battered by the new Pokemon coming into the game. And then Sableye came out, and they've changed it to Sableye now.
You're so right, mate. You're so right.
Got like a Cramorant in a cupboard, and they just every now and then baseball bat just knock him about a little bit.
But no, I think Blaziken's still going to be quite strong with these nerfs, but definitely not as powerful as it currently is. But talking about mons that got some natural stat reductions, Slowbro had quite a few changes with cooldown reduction and health, mate. So I'm kind of on board with that. I think Slowbro has been the tank that you can never kill for so long. That it's about time this happened. I know a lot of people have been up in arms about it, but Slowbro's been so strong for so long, it's about time.
I don't think it makes a massive difference. Slowbro, it's still going to be Slowbro. Like, the thing about Slowbro is you don't, like, right now in the meta, well, the last meta and now the current meta, it's all about the ult.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's what Slowbro is mainly all about, because Scald's nice, but it's not busted. Surf's nice, it's not busted. Like, it's not the best in its class of move, but yeah, Slowbro's been all about the ult. I don't really care about these nerfs. I think it's going to be the same pretty much.
I think that's fair, mate.
I don't think you're going to miss 10% cooldown reduction, to be honest. The health, I mean, maximum was that 500 HP. That's like maybe like one more. You can survive one more crit. Or one less crit.
I mean, realistically, you're getting to like these levels, aren't you? On a Slowbro in a game.
11, 12, and 13. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
So what is that? That's yeah. So even less. That's like just about 300 or something. So yeah, it's minor. It's minor.
Yeah, I don't think it's that bad, mate. And yeah, 10% cooldown reduction is decent, but yeah, as you say, Slowbo's all about that Unite move. But we've got plenty of bugs getting fixed across the board, and then I think we do have
the Dragapult one should have been a feature. Just fuck Ceruledge, literally. That's it. Just fuck Ceruledge.
Especially because they're both like, they've got that typing, haven't they? I think that would make sense, mate, to be fair.
I think it should be a one-shot if Ceruledge is underground, actually, and that should be the
Valid.
fix.
Valid. But one thing that I did spot that is quite interesting is this arena stuff here. So I don't know if you've seen the clips online, but now even Charizard Unite, if you do Queen's Ascendant on it, like applies like the bound to it and everything. Slowbro, like all unstoppable unites.
This is more in the spirit of Pokemon, these rock, paper, scissors moments.
Yeah.
It's what Pokemon's always been about, and yeah, I absolutely love it. It's who's going to throw the Unite move first, and then you just get bound by something else. Nah, it's great. I love it.
Yeah, I think it's a huge shot, mate. I know people have been crying about it, but I'm with you. I think it's great. And then, yeah.
So it's fair, because if you can do it with Slowbro, you can do it with Charizard, you can do it with all these other mons, and Serena deserves that treatment.
I agree.
It's a beautiful buff for Serena. I think that takes it up to probably up a tier, to be honest, if we do tier lists.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I'm with you.
But again, doesn't bust it, which is nice when we're seeing these buffs and nerfs.
But Shellbell getting a buff. Very interesting. And we were talking about it before we came on stream chat. I really like it because I'm a Gengar player anyway, so I really it works quite well with Gengar, but 45% to 60% is a pretty decent increase because people are going to be playing it with 20 plus levels on it anyway.
Yeah, high base as well. I think this is great. I think more people are going to start picking Shellbell for Pokemon now. But it was always kind of like maybe an auto include for one or two Pokemon I can think of off the top of my head. But before, but now, yeah, you might just see people taking it just for the special attack ratio.
I think it's one of those though where like everyone thinks it's going to be really, really good, and they're going to use it on everything now. Where it's going to be one of those where it's only good in certain situations. Still, mate, there's still other held items you'll want to use on top of it, and
I think it's nice that it's more viable.
Yeah,
than what it was.
They need to make changes to held items, mate. Some of them just don't get used, and it's stupid.
What's it? Assault vest and what's the other? Rocky helmet?
Rocky helmet, assault vest. Some people use leftovers for certain things, but even so, they need more to them. They need something happening because they're not getting used for a reason.
What would you do to make them viable picks?
I don't know.
Let's say Rocky helmet, for example.
More damage. Because a slight bit. I guess a slight little buff to it. Because more damage. Maybe damage every time you hit something with a melee attack. Simple as that.
I think because what's the proc time on that? Like 10 seconds, or what? It's like there's like a cooldown on how often it procs, right?
Yeah.
But this is one of those items that you could literally make it how it is because to the main series games without it being absolutely busted. Just have it do like a leftovers amount of damage every time something basic attacks it.
Yeah, so essentially Bramble Vest from League of Legends, I think. I don't think that has a cooldown. Just do that. Just every time something does damage.
Yeah, I think it needs to be some sort of change like that, mate. Either way.
Especially in the meta that it's currently all about melee attackers. It'd be super nice just to throw it on something, just make them not even think twice, but have some sort of damage applied to them, maybe it'll make a difference between getting a team wipe and getting picked off.
Lupus says remove the burst requirement. Make it a build-up of damage that releases after X amount of damage taken. It's a good idea, mate. I feel like, I mean, if anyone else has got any ideas how they think they should change these certain held items that just are not getting used, 100% let us know, even in the comments, because it's quite an interesting discussion, I think, because I really don't think Pokemon Unite are even remotely interested in changing them. So, they're quite happy with the status quo. They know what people use and they'd rather handle that. I only think they've done Shellbell because it's going to get used on so many sort of special attack pieces and stuff like that, like Gengar, some people running it on Delphox. So, I think it's because it could be used on mons that are still quite favourites in the game that they've done it.
Then like Assault Vest, I don't know what you could do to it that wouldn't absolutely break it, to be honest. It's going to be one of those where if you touch it, it's broken, and you nerf it again, it's useless. Waste of tickets or whatever they are that you used to buy it.
How do you like it at the moment? Explain it to me, because I don't use the item. I've actually forgotten the actual what it does. It's special defense, isn't it?
Tiny shield for special attacks.
Literally that, mate. Yeah.
I think they should do it so the more Pokemon that target you, the higher your special defense goes up.
Yeah.
Sort of like a gargoyle stoneplate sort of vibe. Just so if you're in a team fight and you're playing a tank and you're getting targeted, tank example, you're getting targeted by like 4 the enemy team, you get 40 special defense. If it's only 3, then you only will get 30 special defense or something like that. I think that would be a nice. So, well, you know, really, some of these items, anything's better.
Yeah.
Leftovers. Is it when you're in combat, it stops the healing, right?
Yeah. So it's while you're out of combat, mate, which is like 5 seconds or something after you.
Yeah.
Fucking useless.
Yeah.
I've seen some Japanese players using it on Sableye, and I kind of get it because it's nice when you go in and invade and then come out, you'd have to go back to base or go back to get a berry to heal. But
yeah,
I prefer Focus Band. Like it's
same.
Maybe make it so it's when you take damage or you're attacking someone in the enemy team, so not like wild Pokemon. Mate, who knows?
They got to tweak them, mate. They ain't getting used for a reason. Do you know what I mean? They got to do something.
Tuning into us and expecting the ideas.
Hey, I'll give them free, mate. Just make me a caster. So yeah. Even so, a really good patch. I'm quite on board with it. I like it's made some big changes. It's made some important changes. So that's what we like to see. It's going to be interesting to see how these weekend games go with this patch. You know, I mean, and we'll move into that. We'll talk about the last weekend games. They were rather interesting. If I can even remember them, because it's been an entire week nearly since that happened. Let me get the thing up. So we had Arcade Aces against Butista's gang again. I mean, how did you find that one then, Chaos?
I feel we lost rather than our opponents winning. I think we fucked up a lot in the draft for the first game. Like one of our players just randomly picked a Goodra, which we weren't too chuffed about. But no, we just made some mistakes as a team throughout, and it was Bautista's capitalised on it. But very, very, very good team.
Yes.
Felt a bit like the Anlaha games, to be honest. We were never out of it. We were sort of on top in a couple of moments, but ultimately it's a bit better coordinated than us when it comes to Ray.
Yeah, it was a really, really good games to cast, though. To be honest, they weren't. It wasn't a stomp by any means.
They're fun to play as well.
Yeah, I think you were quite close in those games. Like you have been like last week as well, the week before it. Like even though it was a 3-0 loss, like they're very close games. Other than the Zorak game, but you know,
we're getting there for sure. I mean, it's as much as we've been a team, like the core of us, like myself, Redmeister and Loopy have been a team for a long time. The support cast that we get with us has constantly changed throughout the entire time that we've been together. So this sort of iteration's only been together a few, like a month, maybe 2 months, and yeah, we're still getting used to each other.
And then we had Ragnarok versus Plush Keepers, and I thought for the first time seeing Ragnarok, they were very strong. They were really strong, mate. I mean, first 2 games they just took straight away from Plush Keepers quite demandingly. Plush Keepers, though, the kind of team that will not give up, and they didn't. They came into that final game and managed to take it away from Ragnarok, but I was really impressed with how Ragnarok played across the board, mate.
It was important for Plush Keepers not to get 3-0'd, and it looked like they were going to at certain points, but yeah, Ragnarok were excellent. We were kind of unfair in our initial predictions just because we didn't know what to expect from them. We hadn't really seen them around before, but no, they gave a really good account of themselves.
Yeah, I mean, they've moved up in my prediction anyway, mate. I was really impressed with how they did. But then coming into the Sunday, it was yourself that was casting them. So, you know, how did you find it all, mate? I mean, Team Int, Oblivion Gaming, what a game.
That was the game I was looking forward to the most. I think, obviously, we've lost Int and Sucre Sucre, but we had pretty much 1 and 2 or 1 and 3 in your case. So obviously Team Int coming to replace them. OG were always one of my dark horses for the tournament. So it was great to see that sort of clash of teams that are going to be up there at the top. And the games were just crazy, man. It was back and forth constantly. Like in the first game, we had OG pretty much dominant in the first 4 or 5 minutes of the game, and then there was like one big team fight from Team In, and they got themselves like level and slightly ahead for Rain, and OG came back and wiped them. The exact same thing happened in game 2, but the other way around, and then game 3 happened the same as the first game pretty much. But throughout the entire game, it was just constant action. No, it's a crazy good watch.
Yeah, really great games, mate. And I mean, we obviously, you do mention we do have the new team, so realistically, we should make a new final league prediction, like across all of us, really. You know, for me, looking at it, I find it difficult. I honestly think Batista's gang and Team Int are kind of up there at the same level as Amlahar, and I think you've got those three. Any one of those three could be the ones winning the league. I think Amlahar are gonna etch it. Next week's going to be interesting because they're against Petita's gang, so that's going to be a game that will really show us how good they're playing. But I'm going to say Anlahar, Batista's gang, and then Team Int. And then I think even Ragnarok could be in there. I'm going to put Ragnarok, then Oblivion, and then I'm going to put Arcade Aces above Misfits at the moment. Just because I think
very bold.
I think between you two, I think it's very close, mate. I think between Arcade Aces and Misfits, anyone could take that position. But I've seen you playing really well against big teams. I've seen Misfits playing really well, so that's where I'm going to put that. And then Blazing Phoenix, I think, are still learning quite a lot. So I think they've got a lot of work to do, but I think they'll get there. And then there's Plush Keepers as well. We have too many good teams in this league. This is what we were saying last week, though. It's so hard to predict where people are going to go.
Super close. Even more so now, especially with the two teams going out and the teams we've replaced them with. Because obviously, we've replaced them with really solid teams, but they're not that far off the level that we already had. Figure sort of fitting quite nicely. But from probably position 5 to 9, like it's anyone's guess. Anyone can finish in those positions. I still feel like the top 4's kind of set. But even then, it's not as solid as it was previously. Because I've got Anlahar as my favourites to win it, with OG second, Team Imp third, Bautista's fourth. I've got Misfits fifth, Plush Keepers sixth. MEM, I've put them up in seventh after their display, and then ourselves in eighth and Blazing Phoenix ninth. But to be honest, even from position 2 downwards, anyone can finish in that top 4.
That's it,
it's crazy.
That's it. I think we've really built a fantastic league here, guys. I mean, I don't want to pat my own horn too much, but I think we've built a really fantastic league. I think it's going to be very close between a lot of these teams, and this is the EU region that people are seeing shape into what's going to come in the World Championships. You've got the massive EU teams that are intergovernmentalizations. You've got nouns that we know are going to go to Worlds anyway. But these teams are really developing themselves to get to that stage, and they're so freaking close that it's hard to work out, mate.
Yeah, I think people are going to get bored of us saying every single week, "Oh, we've had 4 really good games this week." Every single game is going to be quality.
It's genuine, right? It's genuine what we're saying. I mean, what about you, Robo? You think there's going to be any difference from what we've said in regards to?
Not really, no.
I thought
more about this than I do. No, because I've yet to see the new teams play, I can't really make any comments in that. But essentially, it's all the same. I mean, for me, I kind of you start to get the best sort of picture maybe halfway through the league. So I won't change my opinions until then, and that way I can sort of see these new teams and how they're getting on. Yeah.
Nice. Should we? I mean, we've got some highlights from the games that we can show, right? That we can look at doing it. Maybe not too many because we're already on 40 minutes for the body so far.
Chatting away.
We've we couldn't. It's chatting about the patch notes, mate. There were so many. So let's see what we've got. We've got one which is the gank from Shifu for the Arcade Aces game chat. Let me see if I can actually get that up on big screen because I want you to be able to see.
Because why show the differences between the two ganks and sort of why?
Oh, okay,
because the early game it was so dominant for Bautistas in at least the first 2 games. The third game it was a bit better from us, but it's so dominant. But these ganks kind of show could show the difference between the two teams, essentially.
So this is it, the Shifu one, the gank, yeah? Let's go.
Yeah, so I mean, you can see Urshifu coming in, just doing the Urshifu things. We've not got a very strong top lane at all, and he's just wiped out our jungler, who came to lane a bit early but didn't really get any mileage, again because our lane was terrible, and he's just completely wiped us. But if you see those levels there, he's level 6 already, and our jungler's level 4. We've got a Gabite already evolved. We've got Eldegoss that you can't quite see, I don't think, but he's level 5 as well. It's just a crazy strong gank into a really weak lane. That kind of set the tone for the entire game, because I think our bot lane was struggling a little bit as well. Yeah, it's not an ideal top lane and a very, very solid gunk.
Yeah, and I also like that they, instead of pushing anything else up there, mate, they score the points and they go home to get their next jungle rotation, right?
Immediately, yeah.
It's fantastic. It's great, mate. I think it works really well. Like, they're leaving everyone else that's in that top lane just to do what they usually do and just go get your jungle rotation again. I think that's just shows how well they've got that actually ironed down, to be honest. And then we've got
plus like Gabite so far ahead as well, doesn't it? So you can afford to just go ahead and do that.
Exactly, mate. And then we've got a Leafeon, but it's an easy game.
Oh, and this is a 2 minute long clip, and poor Leafeon has the worst 2 minutes of its life coming up right here. But again, this is just the pressure Batista's put on us. You see the Snorlax coming in to invade, takes the buff. We've seen this so many times from Snorlaxes, takes the buff, then takes the jungler's life, and we finally get somebody rotating to help out our Leafeon. And Snorlax is just there pounding away in the jungle. That's the thing about Leafeon, though, it's such an important early game carry that the first 2 minutes is so important. Like, dying in the first 2 minutes is equivalent to your late game carry dying in the last 2 minutes. We see Leafeon here, he has the chance to ignore the Snorlax and go to gank, carries on fighting, then gets in the end taken out. So he's already died twice in the first minute. And then we sort of roll on a little bit further. Top lane's getting destroyed because, again, we've got such a weak top lane. Not too sure what these comps are, but we're playing. And then Leafeon spawns in. He's getting invaded and pressured by the Urshifu again. You can see him desperately, because this is the thing, he's not had a successful gank, so he's not got any stacks whatsoever. So we see Leafeon looking to try and get a stack at any means necessary, but then dives into a pad against Free, and
I think
2 minutes in, 3 knockouts. It's rough.
Yeah, I think realistically, if you don't have your Unite move on Leafeon by the sort of 7 minute mark, you've had a very bad game. Very bad early game.
With early game carries like that Leafeon, like I said, the first 2 minutes kind of set the tone for the game for you, and that's where you're meant to carry. You have a successful gank, you set your team up to basically win for the first 4 or 5 minutes of the game. And it is pretty much like, if you go down early, it's the equivalent of your late game carry getting knocked out around Ray.
Yeah, I mean, the next clips we had was Ragnarok versus Plush Keepers, where Ceruledge was doing Ceruledge things, but I think we'll skip them, mate, because it's Ceruledge. We know it's going to be broken. But then
that was mainly why Ragnarok got that first game win. I mean, they played really well as a team. There was some really nice stuns in there from the Delphox as well, on like the Zoroark. But for some reason, Plush Keepers just left that Ceruledge open, and it just absolutely ripped through them at every opportunity it got. It was crazy.
And then what we'll do is we'll watch these last 2 clips. So we've got game 1, Team Int versus OG, Oblivion Gaming, and the first clip is where they apparently get back into it, the Team Int. So I think this will be a really good one to watch. Let me get that back up. I think it's the Charizard that gets them back into it.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the scoreline there, can't you? This was the first game, and OG is so far ahead, but look at the Charizard just coming in with an ult. And this is all it takes in Pokemon Unite to get back into a game, just one team fight like this. Very swiftly taking down some opponents, make us dunking points in, but it's for levels as well. They're getting right back on par with the levels. Lucario level 12, Charizard level 11, Pad's gone. It's within 100 points right back in the game as well. And this was after getting absolutely demolished for the entire match. And they go ahead and take the buff. So it was definitely they're on the ascendancy when it got to this point.
I like that, mate. It kind of outlines like how one team fight makes a difference in Pokemon Unite. That's why we love the game so much, right? It's it's just really, really good in that sense. And then we've got here game 2 where OG get back into it this time.
Yeah, exactly the other way around. You see the scoreline, Team Int have battered in 5 minutes. It's crazy. Levels fair play to OG, have managed to keep into it. Look at that, a massive Gyarados ult, taking a couple of knockouts. And yeah, it's just where OG get right back into the game, taking some nice knockouts, getting those levels back. And yeah, it's crazy stuff.
That's what we like to
This
see.
was back and forth the entire game because this doesn't put them level on points. They actually end up going into the Ray fight ahead on levels and ahead on scoreline as well. And it was just a really good Ray fight from Team In.
That's crazy.
An interesting thing from this set was Comfy was played 3 times, all 3 games, and it won every single one.
Wow.
So Comfy the main carry.
Comfy 100% win rate. Let's go. All right, yeah. I mean, that just highlights the kind of level of play that we're seeing week in, week out, to be honest. It's why we're so excited about it. So, yeah, next feature. All right, let's head into the feature section, and I believe you've got something for Robo to do.
So last week we only had me and Tanner. Robo was doing something by himself. We won't go into what. But yeah, so last week we had Tanner. We gave him 30 seconds to name as many moves from a certain type as he could from the main series game.
Oh, okay.
Luckily for you, he only scored 7 because he was trash. But
valid.
We'll see what you can get. So bear with me 2 seconds, and I'll just get a timer. Did we let you pick your type? I think we did, didn't we?
Yeah, you did, mate.
Yeah, so feel free to pick your type.
Grass?
Grass. Okay. Cool. You have 30 seconds. Name as many grass type attacks as you can. 3, 2, 1, go.
Right. Razor Leaf, Solar Beam, Leech Life. What was that bug?
It's a bug.
Leech Seed. Oh my god, Petal Dance. Oh, I froze him. What was that for? Yeah. There's a lot of grass punches there.
4, 3,
yeah,
2,
okay.
1. And I thought Thanos was terrible. What the fuck?
Yeah. I'm just thinking of Bulbasaur, and I'm just thinking, what moves I give Bulbasaur? But he evolved at 16, so I just, oh my god, I don't know Ivysaur. Yeah.
I mean, it is one of those where, like, you just forget, don't you? You literally just forget. It goes out your mind, mate. You're like, I don't know what moves exist anymore.
I need to look this up because there's got to be like so many.
I can't believe I'm not on the bottom of this table.
Yes, it's Robo at the bottom now. Let's go.
We're even. What are you talking about?
What do you mean even? I got 8 at 7. I got 7.
He's trying to add more to it now, isn't he?
Yeah.
You did, mate.
The best thing was that I gave him a fake fire type attack, and I even said it's not a fire type attack, and he's like, "Oh, I'm just going to name it anyway. It's my first one."
Yeah, it was just funny. I just thought it'd be funny.
I'm actually looking up the grass moves now. I bet there's only 5. Oh my god, there's so many.
I bet there's only 5. There's so many grass mons.
Most of them. Shut up.
Can't believe no one's gone for water yet. Half the moves have the word water or bubble in it.
Yeah, true.
Could I have said G Max drum solo, G Max sweetness, G Max tart?
Technically, yeah.
You know what? If you could have got more than 2 of them out in 30 seconds, I'd have allowed it.
Grass knot, grass whistle, grassy glide, grassy terrain. Oh my god.
There's loads, isn't there, man?
We'll cut this. It's fine. We don't need this segment in the podcast. It's fine.
No, we leave it in.
I mean, we will. We will leave it in.
Saying that because you won.
I thought I did bad with 7, man.
We should have a guest on next week so you can torture him with the with the moves.
Me and Tano versus the guest.
Mate, the guest will win. I know who the guest is. They're very good at Pokemon.
Is Ash Ketchum
from Pallet Town.
Oh, he knows fuck all, mate. Let's be real. He got pity-handed badges in the Kanto region. He's been pity-handed.
He needs a Pokédex. He can't do shit without his Pokédex. All right, yeah. I mean, I'll take that.
I'll let you win that. That's fine. I'll let you have it.
Appreciate it, mate. All right, so all that's left to really discuss now is next week's games. So we are actually going into week 3. instead of the week, whatever week I said it was. So yeah, week 3, Anlaha versus Batista's gang. That's going to be one of my most exciting games, mate, because I'm really intrigued to see how Anlaha stack up against these new teams that have come into the league. That's going to be a huge one. You're against Team Int on Arcade Aces. That's going to be an interesting one as well.
I'll be hiding under the desk during that game.
Yeah, I'm going to predict, right? I'm going to predict it's going to be 2-1 to Anlaha. I'm going to predict that Team Int are probably going to get the 3-0 over Arcade Aces, although I think a couple of them will be quite close. We've got Ragnarok versus Blazing Phoenix. I think Ragnarok are going to get the 3 on that one. Oblivion Gaming versus Misfits. That's going to be a 2-1 game again. And I'm going to give it to Oblivion Gaming.
Oh.
Okay, so for me, kind of, identical day one. I think 2-1 to Anlaha. Bautistas are excellent, but I think Anlaha are very, very solid. But again, could go either way. Yeah, Team In, I think that's going to be a 3-0 to them. I don't think it'll be comfortable in all 3 games. We might pull something out in one of them. Probably the last one when they've already given up because they've essentially won the set. Mem versus Blazing Phoenix. I think based on how they played against Plush Keepers, I think that's going to be a 3-0 as well to Mem. And OG versus Misfits. Well, Misfits have lost 2 of their players recently, so it's going to be interesting to see how they rebuild. But for me, I think OG are going to take that 3-0.
Okay. What about you, Robo? Any different for you?
I'm going to be a bit more extreme. I'm going to go Anlaha 3-0. I'm going to go Team Int 3-0.
Thought we get some sympathy points.
Not anymore, mate. Not in this season. Not from Robo anymore.
Ragnarok 3-0 and Oblivion Gaming 3-0. I think it's got to be an entire weekend of just...
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, honestly. I think the only close one you might see, maybe Anlaha might go 2-1, but other than that...
Interesting, mate.
I'm just going to go 3-0 for all of them. I'm going to be horrible.
Mate,
so
I like it.
Hate me in the comments. Yeah. That's. I think. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this weekend. This is gonna be a good one.
Very bold predictions, mate. Yeah, I'm really glad that it's us that are getting to cast the Anlaha Booties' gang, mate, because that's my most excited game that I'm looking forward to. So I'm really hyped to cast that one. But no, I like it. Okay, interesting week, chat. Let us know what you think in the comments. I think it's going to be probably the best week yet with these matchups. Really, really hyped for it. But yeah, I don't think we have anything else to add. Anything from you guys?
No, I'm all good.
Since we spent half an hour or more chatting about the patch, so we're pushing about 55 minutes here.
Even, let's be honest. It was, as far as patches goes, it was one of the.
Oh, wait until we get a massive one. We'll be here all night.
It wasn't even that big.
Yeah. Just talk about Gengar for like half an hour, and then it was, there's some other things.
Oh, but you get Tano talking about Gengar. It's
yeah, you have a Gengar
all night, every night.
I do have a Gengar tattoo on my hand. There we go. Throwing the shadow ball. Let's go.
He's got another one as well in a special place.
You can see Gengar here as well, like little plushie. Yeah, that one's not allowed to be seen, mate. That's just for my last. But yeah, so all right, guys, that's it from us. Thanks for being here. Thanks for popping up on stream. We'll probably continue to do them on stream as well. So yeah, we really appreciate you coming in. That is me at Spartan Tano, Spartan_Tano on the Purple app, and catch me on Twitter as well. And then I'll hand over to Chaos.
You always throw me when you give the purple app and the blue app and the black app and whatever app we've got. But yeah, no, I'm Chaos, Chaotic SPN on Twitter, Chaos Control TV on Twitch.
And then Robo just doesn't exist on social media.
I do not know.
It's an enigma.
He's very much against it, chat. Believes it's rotting our brains. And
I do.
It might not be wrong, you know.
As soon as they shut down his views on Donald Trump, that's when he just went off social media completely.
Yeah, Robo was the one that was doing the real Donald Trump hashtag on there on Twitter.
When you mentioned Donald Trump, did you guys, Tenacious D, didn't you?
Yeah.
You said what I said in Australia.
Yeah.
I'm not going to repeat it that way.
We don't need to repeat it.
We don't want to get cancelled, mate.
Yeah, no, I've been rather retro. I don't have social media, but if you're ever on Unite Massive subreddit Discord, I'll be over there. Thanks for tuning in, though, guys.
All right, guys. Thanks for being here. Have a good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. We'll catch you on the games this weekend. Bye.
See ya.